Is Warzone killing Call of Duty? This has been said by many fans and many creators, but is it true? To get to the bottom of this, we need to look back at the origin of Battle Royale games and how it all led to Call of Duty creating its very own Battle Royale mode. Now we have to travel all the way back to 2012, when the first Hunger Games film was released and inspired the Minecraft community to create a new mode called Hunger Games, later changed to survival games. This hit the world by storm with huge content creators making video after video on the new popular game type. Minecraft is all about building, and while you couldn't build in survival games, the community built unlimited maps with beautiful scenery for the Battle Royale mode. The success of Minecraft survival games led to DayZ, a mod for Arma 2, being released later that same year, but it wasn't quite a Battle Royale game just yet. DayZ was a little bit different with a much larger map and having dangers in the world outside of the players. This led to the first true Battle Royale mode that players would recognize today with a mod of a mod, DayZ, which was called PlayerUnknown Online, which came out in early 2013. It introduced the concept of shrinking zones that forces players to come into closer proximity to each other to fight it out until only one remains. The man who made this mod, Brendan Green, also known as PlayerUnknown, consulted with H1Z1 and became the creative developer for PUBG Battlegrounds that released early access in March of 2017. And it sold over 20 million copies by the end of 2017, showing the demand for this style of game was still there, and that caught the attention of game developers all around. And one of those developers was Epic Games, the creator of one of the biggest games of all time, Fortnite, which initially released with Save the World in July of 2017, a cooperative survival mode that they had worked on since 2012. But Epic saw the potential to create their very own Battle Royale mode, and by September of 2017, they released their free-to-play game, Fortnite Battle Royale. And all they did was combine their survival mode mechanics with the Battle Royale concept. And this ended up having 20 million players by November of 2017 to match the numbers of PUBG. Safe to say, their gamble paid off. But Fortnite didn't stop there, as they surpassed PUBG Battlegrounds in profits by mid-2018 because of their free-to-play business model that made the barrier to entry less, which made more people try the game out. Then Fortnite also supported cross-platform play, which allowed friends to play together no matter what console they were on or PC. With the growing popularity of the mode, Call of Duty finally saw competition that threatened it as the #1 FPS game, and it caused them to slightly panic and rush to get out a Battle Royale of their own. This led to Activision demanding Treyarch to make a BR in Black Ops 4, and this caused them to scrap their campaign into specialist stories to gain the developers a little bit extra time. Really quickly, could you hit that like button? It helps me out a lot. They ended up making a good map that featured fan-favorite multiplayer maps like Firing Range, Nuketown, and Raid, to name a few, and it also added locations with zombies in it that were old zombie maps like Buried, Asylum, and the Boxing Club from Shadows of Evil. However, the mode had some backlash at the start because of the campaign being scrapped, but overall the perception was good, especially when they added Alcatraz, which is based off the prison of course, and it was used in their very own zombies map in Mob of the Dead from Black Ops 2. However, Blackout never saw the player count of Fortnite because it was locked behind a $60 game. This made Call of Duty learn 3 things from Black Ops 4. First, make sure to have a full campaign or receive major backlash. The community perceived this as the developers spending more time on the Battle Royale than the core game that they fell in love with all those years ago. Second, do not lock the Battle Royale mode behind a paywall because it will lower the player count and lower the potential profits. Third, Battle Royale had the possibility to grow Call of Duty's fanbase. Now we travel to 2019 with the release of Modern Warfare 2019, a game that many Call of Duty fans say revived the series, but when we take a look back at player counts from Black Ops 3 in 2015 to the end of Black Ops 4, we're going to see that the player count stayed consistent at about 45 to 55 million players until the very end of Black Ops 4, where it took a big dip down to 36 million. If you're enjoying the content and want to see more, hit that subscribe button and stick around. Also doing a face reveal at 100k. Call of Duty was clearly in trouble, and with the announcement of the Modern Warfare series coming back, it excited the player base and brought most of them back, having the player count surge back up to 49 million, back to the normal range on release. But prior to Warzone and the pandemic happening in March of 2020, Modern Warfare 2019 was killing Call of Duty by having the player count reach its lowest point since COD blew up at 26 million. That is a huge drop from even just the end of Black Ops 4. This was because the marketing slapped the community in the face with the promise of bringing the series back to its roots, but delivered a mess that the community didn't want to play, as the developers said they wanted safe spaces for bad players and wanted to make them enjoy the game even at the cost of the dedicated fans. And the numbers back this up by showing the huge mistakes they made in multiplayer. Call of Duty was looking like it was on its way out, and we would lose the game that we love and love to hate. But then the unthinkable happened. The world was shut down as Warzone 1 was being released in March, and we saw a boost to COD's numbers that was never before seen by raising the player base by 242% to 63 million. They learned from their mistake with locking Black Ops 4 Battle Royale behind a $60 paywall and made it free to everyone, making the barrier to entry much easier. Then they used the Battle Pass system that worked beautifully for Fortnite and learned what a cash cow the Battle Royale genre could be for them. While many say Battle Royale is killing Call of Duty, it at the very least saved it first. And as Warzone continued through Cold War, we saw Call of Duty hit a new high with Verdansk 84 by having the player count reach 104 million at its peak, and steadily maintained at least 66 million users through Cold War's lifespan. Blackout walked so Warzone could run. It brought the Call of Duty movement and gunplay to the Battle Royale scene that brought in old and new players alike, which then helped Call of Duty sales increase for the full game, leading to more people playing the multiplayer and zombies. The question is, why do people fear the mode that revived Call of Duty, giving it a second chance at life? Many believe that Activision and the developers only truly care about Warzone now and don't spend the time making sure the other modes are good. They think the devs spend all their development time worrying about how to cater multiplayer to Warzone, with things like weapon balancing, perks, and movement. And these complaints only grew louder with Vanguard as the player count dropped drastically to points we hadn't seen since pre-Warzone at 44 million, which was still almost double the player count MW 2019 had just 2 months after launch. To put it simply, players just hated Vanguard all around, no matter if it was the campaign, zombies, or multiplayer. And it also changed the Warzone map to Caldera, which had severe issues at launch with console players being unable to play it. Everyone turned from complaining about Verdansk to wanting it back, in typical Call of Duty fan fashion of liking the old games better. From every front, Activision was getting hit. The player base didn't like anything that was happening, so they went back to the well that was the Modern Warfare series to use its name to bring players back with not only a new multiplayer and campaign, but a new Warzone as well. And it worked initially with good sales numbers, but quickly died off as they alienated the dedicated fans even more by making the worst COD experience to date. They nerfed the movement so bad the community felt it was unplayable, tried to make the weapons perform more realistic in an arcade shooter, amped up the skill-based matchmaking even more, and turned the aim assist up to max levels. Maybe they did that to combat the hackers because their anti-cheat doesn't work at all. The fans took to Twitter and Reddit to complain to Infinity Ward, but it all fell on deaf ears. The only mode keeping some of the community was DMZ. This is when I had enough of Call of Duty and took a break to play Minecraft for the first time in years. I built this medieval kingdom that I called AscendAR, and it took a while to make, but not enough time as I headed back to MW2. Let me know if you like it. At this point, the community had back-to-back years of terrible Call of Duties, and they wanted something specific to blame, and they picked Warzone 2. They said the devs spent all their time focusing on the Battle Royale mode and not making content for multiplayer, but this simply isn't true. They have Raven Software do almost all of the work on Battle Royale, which is a separate studio giving Infinity Ward plenty of time to work on whatever they wanted. The weapon balancing is completely different because they changed the damage of weapons for Warzone to make the time to kills more balanced. The real problem was that Infinity Ward gave up making the game better after a couple months. If there was an issue that needed to be fixed, they said whatever. We'll get to it when we get to it. They started only having 2 updates a season instead of fixing issues as fast as possible like we'd become accustomed to with the previous 3 Call of Duties. And Infinity Ward didn't listen to any community feedback, which felt like a slap in the face to the players that have been fans of the series for years. With Modern Warfare 2 doing so poorly, Activision scrambled to abandon the 2-year life cycle that was planned for MW2 and quickly announced that they were in fact going to release a new game for 2023 in Modern Warfare 3, with Sledgehammer in charge. At least initially before they screwed him, but that's a topic for another video. Then the community found out there would be no new maps at launch and they would all be remastered OG Modern Warfare 2 launch maps. The community latched onto this by calling MW3 a $70 DLC, which has led to the decline in sales numbers since Modern Warfare 2, specifically a 38% drop in the UK. And they are also selling less in the US. And it's a shame considering that Sledgehammer listened to a lot of the community's feedback with its multiplayer and Warzone 3 by bringing back red dots on the minimap, movement, and weapons performing more similar to Modern Warfare 2019. MW3 is far better than Vanguard and MW 2022, but it is hard to say that it isn't a DLC, and that's why many people won't buy it. And most of the players who purchase the game complain about how strict the skill-based matchmaking is. Warzone 3 has better numbers than Warzone 2 and is helping to keep Call of Duty from fully plunging off the cliff. So while some say Battle Royale is killing Call of Duty, I think we can all see it's helping the franchise cling on to life. The problem doesn't lie within developers spending too much time on Warzone, the problem lies within the developers making good games and listening to the community. None of this would be talked about if Call of Duty just made a quality title. We can look at Fortnite, a game that has lulls but has never fallen into oblivion because Epic Games always listens to its community and makes needed changes swiftly and continues to try and improve the user experience. They work on Battle Royale, Save the World, Creative, and making brand new modes like Lego Fortnite, which is kinda like Minecraft. Now Call of Duty is in need of big changes to get the momentum back into the series that Warzone 1 brought it. That's why they're bringing in Treyarch, the most popular COD developer with the most development time they have ever given a studio for Call of Duty, with 4 years. They have the next couple games planned out as Black Ops Gulf War set in the 90s and COD 2025 being a direct sequel to Black Ops 2, with both having a return to round-based zombies. Since Microsoft purchased Activision, they know that the new Black Ops in 2024 needs to be a hit or else Call of Duty is in some serious trouble. Will we see skill-based matchmaking toned down? Will we see multiplayer return to being a fan-favorite mode? Will we see Treyarch Zombies return to its heights? Will the community still love Verdansk when it returns to Warzone next year? These are the questions that will determine if Call of Duty remains a best-selling game every year. And they should probably take some ideas from the community's most popular Call of Duties that you can find in this video right here. Peace.